Tom and Renee are both 34. They earn the exact same salary, $72,000 a year, and they invest in basically the same funds. 30 years from now, one of them retires with over $500,000 more than the other, not because one picked better stocks, not because one got lucky. They bought the same things in a different order. And almost everyone, including the people sure they're already doing this right, gets that order backwards. By the end, you'll know the exact order to send every dollar you earn, what to feed first, what to ignore for now, and what comes dead last. The same order that put Renee $500,000 ahead. You'll also know the one spot where almost everyone, even careful people, quietly does it backwards and pays for that mistake for 30 years without ever seeing the bill. So why does this go wrong for almost everyone? It isn't a knowledge problem, it's a wiring problem. Buying a stock, picking a fund, watching a ticker move, that lights up the same reward circuits as a small win at a casino. It feels like progress. Meanwhile, the moves that actually pay the most, grabbing a free employer match, killing a 21% credit card, feel like chores, boring, easy to put off until you're ready. So people do the exciting thing and skip the boring thing in exactly the wrong order, and the system is happy to let them. Here's how far off the foundation most people are. The typical American has about $500 set aside for an emergency, and close to a quarter have nothing at all. That's the Empower and Bankrate data. So before anyone argues index funds versus stock picking, understand this: most people are building the roof before they've poured the floor. So the real question was never, what should I invest in? That question is the trap. It keeps you ranking favorites when the order is what matters. The real question is quieter. What's the highest paying job for my next dollar right now? Ask that at every step and you stop guessing. The order writes itself. Here's the rule that answers that question every time. Call it the next dollar rule. Your next dollar goes to its highest return use before it's allowed anywhere else. Not your favorite use, not the exciting one, the highest paying one. And it turns out there are exactly 7 places a dollar can go, 7 rungs on a ladder, and they're already ranked for you. Not by what's fun, by guaranteed return. A free match outranks a stock tip because 100% beats a maybe. Killing a 21% card outranks a brokerage account because a sure 21% beats an average 8. Climb the rungs in order, and every dollar lands on its highest paying job before it moves down. Skip a rung and nothing warns you. You don't get an error message. You just quietly earn less, every month for 30 years. Watch Renee climb the ladder, one rung at a time. Rung 1, a starter emergency fund. Before anything clever, she gets $1,000 in cash, then builds toward 3 to 6 months of expenses. This rung isn't about emergencies, it's about not making a panic decision when one hits. Without it, one surprise, and you're selling investments at the worst moment or reaching for a card. Vanguard found that investors with just $2,000 set aside reported financial well-being 21% higher, a bigger lift than a $500,000 salary gave. The buffer matters more than the size. That's the floor. Everything else sits on top of it. Rung 2, the one almost everyone gets wrong. Capture the full employer match. Renee's job matches her dollar for dollar up to 5% of pay. She puts in $3,600. Her employer hands her $3,600. That's a 100% return instant before the market does a thing. No dollar will ever have a higher paying job. This is where Tom stumbles. He waits, wants to clear some debt first, get ready. Sounds responsible, but walking past a guaranteed 100% to go fight a 21% card is choosing the smaller win. Rung 3, now that the free money's locked, kill high-interest debt. Anything above what investing would earn you, roughly 8%. Renee's $6,000 card at 21% bleeds about $1,260 a year in interest for nothing. Paying it off is a guaranteed tax-free 21%, higher than Buffett's long-run average of just under 20. Highest rate first is mathematically optimal. Smallest balance first is fine if that's what you'll actually finish. Rung 4, max a personal IRA before filling the 401k. Same dollars with better control and cost. Many workplace plans trap you in expensive funds. An IRA buys the cheapest broad index funds there are. For example, $7,500 a year for 30 years compounds to about $850,000 at 8%. But shave 1% off in fees, and it's around $710,000. That's $140,000 gone silently. In fees you never watch leave. Quick rule: Roth if your tax rate's lower now than later. Traditional if it's higher now. Split if unsure. Rung 5, if she's on a high-deductible health plan, the HSA, the only account taxed nowhere, deductible going in, tax-free growth, tax-free out for medical costs, the move nobody makes. Pay today's medical bills out of pocket, keep the receipts, let the account compound for decades, then reimburse yourself tax-free whenever you want. Maxed for 30 years, that's hundreds of thousands the tax collector never touches. Rung 6, now max the 401k. Between the IRA, the HSA, and the 401k, Renee can shelter over $40,000 a year from current tax if her income could support it. But she's sheltering closer to $15,000, a full 20% of her salary. Reality check, the average American saves around 4.5% of income. Reach this rung, and you're already in roughly the top 5% of savers in the country. Rung 7, dead last, the regular taxable brokerage. The account most people open first. Nothing wrong with it. Its dollars just work a little less hard, because the gains get taxed along the way. Its real value isn't returns, it's flexibility. It's the money you can touch before retirement, for a house or an early exit. Renee fills it only once every sheltered rung is full and keeps it in the same boring index funds. Same destination as Tom's stock picking, minus the tax bill and the guesswork. Remember the promise, the one spot where careful people quietly do it backwards. There are actually two, and they cost a fortune from opposite directions. The first is the just start investing instinct. This person jumps straight to a brokerage account and starts picking stocks, skips the free match, ignores the card quietly charging 21% behind them. The account feels real. It feels like progress, but they're paying full price to skip free money. That's Tom, early on. The second is the opposite, and it sounds wise. No investing until every debt is gone. Right about the 21% card, dead wrong when they throw years at a 4% mortgage too, walking past matches and tax shelters the entire time to kill debt that was cheaper than the market. So come back to Tom and Renee. Same age, same paycheck, same type of funds, $500,000 apart. The only variable is order. How? Well, just some simple decisions. Renee took the employer match starting at 34. Tom waited until he was ready and lost 10 years. 1 year of a $3,600 match, left alone 30 years at 8%, grows to about $36,000. And because Renee gets a small raise most years, her match grows right alongside her paycheck. Captured every year for 30 years, it compounds to roughly $550,000. Tom skips the early years. He never catches up. He's left with around $275,000, a $273,000 difference. Then Renee chose a low-cost ETF for her retirement accounts. Tom picked a higher fee, actively managed fund because he liked the idea of Wall Street types running his money. They both invested $10,000 a year, but that 1% difference over 30 years comes to $188,000. Now the HSA, Renee put $1,200 a year into hers and let it compound, paying medical bills out of pocket and never touching the account. Tom skipped it and sent that same $1,200 to his 4% mortgage instead. Not a bad choice, just not the best one. 30 years on, Renee's HSA had grown to nearly $136,000. Tom's early payments saved him about $67,000, same $1,200 a year, a $69,000 difference, just from which rung the dollar landed on. That's over a $500,000 difference between Renee and Tom. Renee never picked a single winner. She never timed the market. She put each dollar on its highest rung in order and then stayed boring for a long time. That's the whole secret. You don't need to be smarter than everyone chasing the exciting thing. You just need to stop competing with them. Do this, and you stop being someone hoping they've got their money right and become someone who knows they do. That's the part that compounds before the money ever does. So before you go, which rung are you actually standing on right now? Tell me in the comments. And if this finally puts your money in order, subscribe and keep the momentum going. Watch the only 3 ETFs you need to build wealth. It's on the screen. And remember, this isn't personal financial advice. It's information so you can build your own plan. See you on the next video.